Hey everybody, Bob Simpson back again for episode 3 of What's in My Record Collection. Thanks again for tuning in. Back with the Sierra Nevada Tropical Torpedo Tropical IPA. Cheers. Okay, so got my stack of records here and really excited to share with you what I have. Not as many repeat artists as last episode, but anyway, let's get down to it. You might be familiar or might not be familiar with a label called Wax Time. Wax Time basically is a label out of Europe who specializes in a lot of classics, mainly jazz for the most part, jazz, blues, and some early rock and roll. One of these that I have here is Something Else by Cannonball Adderley. And look at that lineup. You got Miles Davis, Hank Jones, Sam Jones, Art Blakey on drums. Really great album. Cool thing about the Wax Time pressings is that they sometimes add in some bonus tracks from the same sessions that were not released on the original EP. So in this case, it features the original album, but adds the song Allison's Uncle from the same sessions on here that was not put on the original Blue Note pressing. Now, this is a 180 gram pure virgin vinyl pressing. Autumn Leaves is probably my favorite track off of this. It does feature Love for Sale by Cole Porter, Something Else by Miles Davis, and but anyway, Cannonball Adderley was a wonderful, wonderful jazz musician. Mercy, Mercy, Mercy was probably his biggest claim to fame in the 60s, and it was recorded by the Buckinghams and some other pop groups of the time. So, great album to check out. A repeat artist, but you can't ever go wrong with the man in black himself, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fabulous Johnny Cash, and he was fabulous to me. This is actually his very first album on Columbia Records. So this is his Columbia Records debut right here. This is when he left Sun to record for Columbia. And then Columbia said, make us one secular record and then you can make a gospel album, because it's really what he wanted to do, is make gospel music. But this is a 180 gram pressing on Capitol, or excuse me, not Capitol, Columbia, excuse me. Great songs on here. Frankie's Man Johnny, I Still Miss Someone, Don't Take Your Guns to Town, Pickin' Time, Supper Time. Good record. There was a record store day release of this back in 2000. Let's just forget I said anything. It was a record store day release at one point in time. This is not the RSD edition of it. I looked into it. There's not any difference really, other than there's just limited copies of this reissue. But this is the 2012 reissue. Put out in 1958 originally. Good record. An album that I actually used to have an original pressing of, but came across this is actually a Czech Republic reissue. Steve Earle, Guitar Town. Great album. The quintessential 80s alt country, whatever you can call it, album. Guitar Town, of course. Goodbye is all we got left to say. Hillbilly Highway, Little Rock and Roller, Someday, Good Old Boy Getting Tough, My Old Friend the Blues. A lot of great songs on here. It features his backing band, the Dukes. I actually met Steve, and he told me that this had actually been put out on 8-track back in 1986 when it was released. Really something else. Good album. Really good album. That song, Little Rock and Roller, is actually written for his son, Justin Townes Earle, who we lost over the summer. One of my favorite bands. I've seen them in concert more times than anyone else I've ever seen. You wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world, Kiss. This is their second record, Hotter Than Hell. This is a 180 gram reissue. I will say the one thing about these Kiss reissues is that they sound so much better than the original pressings. And I don't know any Kiss fan that will tell you differently, to be honest with you. Cool album art. This is 1974. Hotter Than Hell. I said the back cover was cool. It's this face with all of their makeup on it, basically. But you've got Paul Stanley, the Star Child, loving on some lady there, and the Cat Man in his throne with a naked woman with stars covering up her nipples. Ace Frehley, the spaceman, just sitting there on a lab table. And then, of course, the demon Gene Simmons breathing some fire. I mean, every song on here is great. Got to Choose, Parasite, Going Blind is a beautiful song. The title track, Hotter Than Hell, Let Me Go, Rock and Roll. All the Way, Watching You, Mainline, Coming Home, Streams. I mean, they're all good. Yeah, it's a good 10-track record. It's really, really good. Real heavy on the compression, which was a big thing in the 70s for rock albums. But, yeah, nonetheless, really good. One record that's not a reissue here in the collection. This is Okkervil River. Stage names. Our Love is not a movie, or maybe, unless it kicks. Great record. This came out, oh gosh, man, when did this come out? 2008, I believe. Anyway, great album. Here's a classic. I have, sure that some of you, my friends who are watching, really enjoy this one. Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. This is my favorite record of theirs. Now this is a 70s reissue on Columbia. Scarborough Fair, Homeward Bound, the 59th Street Bridge song, da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. A simple, desultory, Philippic, or How I Was Robert McNamara into Submission is probably my favorite song on here. It's Paul Simon's ode to Bob Dylan. I think it's fantastic. For Emily, Wherever I May Find Her, 7 O'Clock News, Silent Night. There's some great stuff. Produced by Bob Johnston, who actually produced some of those early Bob Dylan records. So this is a good one. If you've not ever heard this is a quintessential record. Definitely something to check out. Just like the Guitar Town, Steve Earle that I just pulled up. That's one that you'll see. A repeat artist, but kind of a cool one. It's James Taylor, One Man Dog. This was his, I believe this was his like fourth or fifth album that he put out. This is a white label, as you can see, white label, Warner Brothers issued album. So it is, with that white label, it is the is a promo, and of course it does have the original insert. Doesn't have the lyrics, but tells you Leland Schuyler on bass and Russ Kunkel on drums, Carole King singing background vocals, Carly Simon as well. So some good stuff. Really good album. A lot of cool little songs. Last in the collection here on this episode is the latest by one of the greatest of the early 2000s, The White Stripes' Greatest Hits. My Sister Thinks You and I Thank You, The White Stripes' Greatest Hits. It is a double LP. Was really hoping that there was going to be like a red and white vinyl edition, but there's nothing that I could find. But I mean, Fell in Love with a Girl, Dead Leaves on the Dirty Ground, their version of Jolene, I Think You Smell a Rat. You're Pretty Good Looking for a Girl is my favorite White Stripes song. I didn't care for that album so much, but which is kind of why I bought this, because it kind of has all those tracks that I really wanted. So not a bad purchase, not a bad way to close out record buying for 2020 for myself. But anyway, so that's what's in my record collection for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.